Hi and welcome back. When I did my last video, which was how to get Zoom ready in 10 minutes, so many of you said, you haven't credited the brushes. Please do a review of your favourite brushes. And so here they are. If they're no longer available, I've created links to equivalents. I hope that helps anyway. So my brushes come in two pots like this. Ones I use all the time, ones I use occasionally. I'm just going to do the ones that I use all the time and time again. Little messy pot, let's keep things real. And I'm going to start with the one that most of you asked about because it was the one in my Instagram picture that I was sort of doing this with. And this is the Elizabeth Arden Mineral Powder Brush, and it comes, there's a miniature that it comes with that folds in two to put in your handbag as well. And it was originally designed for use with the, when they launched the, you see it, it's an incredible fresh pressed mineral powder that you turn that has a sort of internal grater on that sort of slowly, so it's compact, but it becomes a loose powder as you twist it, and it's a really great mineral powder. And for years and years and years and years, before I became a videographer like this, I used to, a video creator, I used to use mineral powder every day. It's not great under the lights, it can flare. So that's when I started using my IT Cosmetics CC cream, but that's what I used to apply it with. And what I like about it is it's very dense, very soft, but it's got that very slight angle to it, which means it works really well for all powders. So basically it follows the contours of your face as you do that and that and that. So it goes down like that. And it's what I use with my Beauty Pie One Powder Wonder. I would also use it for bronzers as well, but it's essentially a very dense brush, and it's great for getting rid of, firstly it's great at applying powders, but it's also great at then taking out the excess so you don't look cakey. I really like it. It's an absolutely brilliant brush. I've never found anything else like it. There's something about the bristles and the density of the bristles and that angle that's just unbeatable. I really like it. You always see me apply my foundation with the IT Cosmetics dual-ended brush. And it's, what's it actually called? I always called it the IT Cosmetics dual-ended brush, but it's actually called something like Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection number 7. What it is it's a really great liquid foundation application brush, and at the end you've got a little concealer brush as well, so that's why it's good for me. It's a 2-in-1. I do stand it actually on that end, but it doesn't appear to damage the bristles at all. So what it is it's, I tell you what actually does happen over time when it gets really old, it comes apart. This bit is wooden in the middle and it comes apart. I've had that happen to one of them. I've had 3 on the go now, probably staggered for a better part of 4 years. So that's not bad going, is it, for a brush that you use virtually every day. This is really, really lovely, this is. And I've got another one here that I use, and I'm going to talk about the difference between them. So this is also a complexion brush. This is the Real Techniques 200. And what's interesting about choosing a complexion brush, and this is absolutely perfect, is this is soft and not that dense. So you get a fairly heavy coverage with it. And this is what I put my foundation on with today. And that's a really nice one for just going in around the nose and around the eyes with a concealer. However, if you want a lighter finish to your foundation, the secret is to go for a brush that has a more dense, slightly shorter bristle to it. And the reason is because the brush itself will pick up more product, but it will absorb more product. So be careful with using something like this. You could use this for a cream blusher, you could use this for a foundation. It gives a lighter coverage, it gives more of a delicate everyday coverage rather than a heavier coverage, and that's the Real Techniques 200. For blushers, I use the Real Techniques Powder Blur brushes, but I will find the modern equivalent. There's one there. That's actually slightly more dense and angled though than this. These are really soft and really nice, and they're really good at doing that Nike tick. So you go here and up. It's what's known as the Nike tick. So you do your main blush here directly under your eye and then go up in a Nike tick. It's the most flattering, easy to master blush technique. I also obviously go slightly up into my hairline, such an 80s trick, but I really like it. I saw Lorna Luxe do it the other day, so I thought, oh, I must be in good company. She's a young one and she does it. So that's my blusher brush. It's a soft blush brush, so you get a really nice, easy finish, soft and light finish. As I said, I've got another one here, which is the Bold Metals 300. that's slightly more dense, which means you get a lighter finish, but the more dense the brush, the easier it is to use with cream blushers. And I do occasionally use cream blushers. I like a cream blusher. And I've got another one here, which is the Bold Metals 301, which actually I use if I'm going to do a little bit of contour or a tiny bit just of highlight across the top there. It blends out. That's really short, stubby bristles. As I say, you get more control, so you get less of a blurring effect, but also the shorter the bristle, the better it is for a cream or liquid. What else have I got going on to, oh no, let's look. Oh, this is an expensive one. I'm sorry about this. And I mentioned this in my other video. This is the brand new Hourglass Vanish Concealer Brush. And the concealer is slightly too heavy coverage for me, but I do love the brush. And it's essentially, if you look at it, it's essentially a miniature version of that, which probably explains why I like it. So it's angled, super soft like that, and similar density. And what it's good at is it's good at, once you've put your concealer on in a sort of, I just put it in there, in the dark bit there. Once it's on there, it's really good at blending it out seamlessly. And after you've done your eye makeup, it's just soft enough to then turn and wipe away any excess around here. It's cut perfectly to fit in there and under there. It's a really well designed brush. I love that. It's quite expensive. I think it's £26. If you want a heavier finish to your concealer, again, you're going to have to go with a liquid cream concealer type brush. And this is the Bare Minerals one. Let's have a look at the name of it again. It's Bare Minerals Max Coverage Concealer. And this is better for covering spots or areas where you need more coverage. So when I was covering my spot up here, this is what I was using. It works really well on liquids. It gives you absolute, because it's a fine tip, it gives you a precision end under there if you do need under there and round the nose, but will also precisely go in and cover little blemishes. I've got that area of pigmentation that I need to get zapped, and that old mosquito bite. That's the brush to use for that. Again, for liquids and creams. And then I've got three eye brushes here that I use. I don't use a lip brush, but mainly because I very rarely, if ever, wear a highly pigmented lipstick. I tend to wear either a little glossy nude. This is the Bobbi Brown Extra Lip Tint in, I think it's Bare Naked, it might even be called actually. Or I use like Charlotte Tilbury, Pillow Talk, straight from the bullet. Don't worry about anything like that. So I never wear a red lip, so I don't really need a lip liner or a lip pencil or a lip brush. So here are my three eye brushes, and they are two Real Techniques ones and a NARS one, but the NARS one is often sold out whenever I mention it. So there is a Zoeva dupe that I will also put down here. But the two original Real Techniques brushes I use, which I think are brilliant for eyes, are 200 and 201. The 201 is a much more precision dome-ended brush, quite dense, really good for applying a powder exactly where you need it. Say for example in the crease there. But that is the one I use when I'm feeling lazy and I do my windscreen wiper action. And that's the 200. And I would use that one after that one anyway. So precision application, blending out. They're really lovely brushes. The only thing I hate about this, and I've said this before in my brush cleaning video, is they don't fit into my brush cleaner very well. So it tends to wobble around while I clean it. I'm sure I will, in fact, go in and find what the modern equivalent are for the Real Techniques that are still available. And then my dupe for my eyeliner brush, I've just got a day makeup on at the moment, so I've got no liquid or pencil eyeliner on at all. All I've got is my Bobbi Brown Black Plum with my NARS smudger brush. And let me show you this brush close up. So what's interesting about this is it's incredibly short, incredibly dense little bristles, but that they're curved at the end, so you don't get any harsh edges with it. And what I do is I dip it in and then I literally just go back and forth in the line there, and then a little bit out the edges. There's nothing else like it, except, I say that, there's nothing else like it. And then one of my lovely followers found the dupe on Zoeva. There is a Zoeva one, and I will put the Zoeva details in below. But if you worry about doing a nice smudge effect eyeliner, and originally I used to use these sorts of brushes. So there's a classic example. They're actually eyebrow brushes. I think that's the Bobbi Brown Eye Definer, and that one is the Real Techniques. I presume it's 200 something if it's a eye one. 202, there you go. So they would originally come in a set of 3, 200, 201 and 202. And you can use these in eyebrows. I don't, because I use a gel on my eyebrows. But for years and years and years, I used to use my eyeliner with that, and it gives a much more fine defined. You can use these in liquids as well, almost like a liquid line, but actually that's easier to use. The smudger is easier to use. I guess what you could do is apply it with that and then go straight in afterwards and smudge it out with that. I just go straight in with a smudger. I'm lazy. Let's have a look at other brushes here that I like. You know, I'm always tempted by brushes like this. Look, you know, these lovely big brushes. So this is the Real Techniques 400, but actually I never really know what to do with them. And I think it's because I much prefer that brush. This is sort of loose, sort of blusher brush, bronzer brush, under the neck brush. I love them. I get them out. I use them twice. They're absolutely lovely, and then I never use them again. There's the original gold one from the Real Techniques collection that came with those two. But I use the 2 smaller ones. In fact, I use that one more. I don't really use those ones that much. And again, here's the powder blur one. There's the biggest one in the powder blur one. I don't use it. They're very loosely, not very densely compacted, these ones, all 3 of them, and I prefer that. That's got a much more dense, you can apply, sort of bake with it and then brush the rest away. They don't really work for me, they really don't. And then I just want to show you a couple of small little brushes that I put in my makeup bag that are really handy, because obviously you can't go walking around with these in your makeup bag, they're all far too large. Apart from that one, which I do put in my makeup bag. The rest of them I wouldn't carry around with me. But so I've got 3 little minis here that do work well in my bag. This is an absolute brilliant one. I'm going back to Real Techniques again. This is going to be a bit like a sort of Real Techniques video here. But this is the Real Techniques Mini Expert Face Brush. I did have some more minis and Ruth stole them when she came over and videoed. Oh, I miss videoing with people. But that's a really nice little one. That will tide you over to apply everything. Foundation, blusher, a little bit of bronzer, everything really. It's a really nice little miniature to put into your makeup bag. The entire range of Real Techniques minis are amazing. I highly recommend them. So there's that one. I've also got the Kevyn Aucoin one, which is even more of a short stubby one, which was designed for the compact foundation he had, but I find it particularly good for cream bronzers and blushers in there. And then I've got this one here, which is the Pat McGrath Labs one, which I absolutely love. You know, I mean, Pat makes such amazing brushes, but this one's slightly looser, but it's a good size handle. And this one is designed for her foundation as well. So there's 3 little minis. But I mean, cheap, budget, medium price, more expensive. That's actually about the size of them and the density. The fact that those middle sizes are sort of suits all. You could use them for foundation, you could use them for bronzer, you could use them for blusher when you're out and about. So that's what they are. They're my 3 little minis. So there you go. There's still a collection there that I've tried and I liked, but I don't really use that much. I'll be really honest with you. If we go back to my absolute essentials and I take out the doubles, what have I got here? I've got 1 brush for powder, brush for foundation, brush for blusher, 2 little concealer brushes that are handy to have, and 3 eye brushes, and that's it. That is really it. That's all the brushes I use. I would put in there the Real Techniques one for a lighter coverage, a second blush one because I skip between 2 blush colours a lot, Orgasm, and then probably the Tom Ford one, and then the second one for that because I'm always slaying those, leaving them on the side, rushing down to answer the postman, coming back upstairs using them. That's it. That's my collection of must-have brushes. I should put all the details and all the links down below. If any of those have been discontinued, for example, I think the powder blur ones and even maybe some of the bold metals actually have been discontinued, I will find it's only the arm that's been discontinued. The actual brush itself will be available in other finishes and Real Techniques. So I'll put them all down below, plus the Zoeva dupe for my NARS smudge brush. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What am I missing out on? What brushes are missing from that little collection? What would make this face look a little bit more professional? Be careful how you answer that. I'll see you soon.